Welcome back to UltiWorld's continued live coverage of the 2019 Pro Championships. We have a men's semifinal coming at you. Chicago Machine, Raleigh Ring of Fire. A classic rivalry, really, in the men's division. Daniel Prentice here alongside Lindsay McKenna. Lindsay, I know you have your eyes on some young players to watch out for in this one.
Yes, this is a great combination of two teams that have quite a lot of the U24 World's competitors that competed in Heidelberg, Germany this past summer. So it'll be really interesting to see different teammates compete against each other and see what they can bring to the table with their respective teams from the States.
And Lindsay, I know you were teammates with a fair few of those players this past summer.
Yes.
Are there any in particular that you expect to have a big impact in this game for the fans at home to keep an eye on?
All right. Well, if we start with Machine, I think Joe White is a player in itself where if you know his name, you know what he can do. He's a phenomenal thrower, phenomenal cutter. He takes big spaces and utilizes them to their best capabilities. If we look across the field at Ring, you have just some solid chemistry lines from the North Carolina contingent. These players have started young, and they have come all the way up into this club scene. So looking forward to it. Of course, Matt Johannes, Liam Searles-Bowes, who just phenomenal players in the backfield. Saul Yanuk and Eric Taylor as well. Just great players to keep an eye out for, and hopefully we'll get some great matchups out there.
Should be a good one, Lindsay, and a few of those players you mentioned out on the field. It's Ring starting on defense in blue. Walker Matthews sending down a long floaty pole. And just a heads up, we are playing with an 80-minute whiff diff rule cap. So after 80 minutes, we will play to +1 to the high score. Just a little information for you that we're playing with slightly different cap rules for this game than we've had the rest of the weekend. See Machine coming down on offense. Already out across midfield. There is the aforementioned White getting his first touch of the game. And White going to flip a high one to the disc. Elevating for the grab in the end zone is Keegan North. Nice play there for North. The Machine gets the clean hold to start.
Yeah, it looks like both teams came out ready to fight in this game. Both had pretty successful last round games. Ring won on Universe against Boston Dig, coming off on a tight but good matchup there. Let's see if they can continue the fire in this game.
And as we take another look at the scoring play, Lindsay, you look like a savant right away. First player you mentioned to watch, Joe White, instantly making an impact with that throw.
Yeah, he's one of those players that if you see across the line, you have to struggle on who you're going to put on him. He's just one of those players that can take advantage of whatever you get him and then use it for the best for their team.
So after the fruitless D-line point for Ring, they will be out on O to face the Machine defense that we'll get our first look at here. You see Johnny Bansfield with a disc in his hand, a new member of Machine. They have quite a few of those this season. He'll be pulling. Machine, one of the big benefactors of the disbanded High Five Club. Bansfield coming over along with Joe White. Here comes the pull down from Bansfield. Looks like that one is headed out of bounds, so strong starting field position for Ring. They'll be at the brick.
Looking to see what kind of defensive strategies the teams employ against each other. Both are athletic and young and very able to take and utilize the deep space.
Alan Laviolette making that first catch. He swings it over to the far sideline to Eric Taylor. Now with Jack Williams, he sweeps it over to Dylan Lanier. Liam Searles-Bowes. Already some of these young players that Lindsay mentioned, having both of those players still in college. Searles-Bowes gets it to Elijah Long in the middle. He's going to swing a forehand over to the far sideline, caught by Fisher under heavy pressure. Fisher going to come back to the near sideline with a hammer. Wide open Lanier in the back corner there. A little tense, Lindsay. I thought it seemed like you got the sense of that as well, but Ring does get the clean hold to start.
Yeah, Machine was really close on that in cut, applying really nice pressure. Almost, I think, touching the disc, but Fisher still comes down with it and then shoots a perfectly pinpoint hammer into that break side.
It was Pardo just centimeters away from getting the block. And unable to set the mark after freeing up Fisher for the hammer for the score. So clean holds for both these offenses to get us started. Lindsay, you mentioned what you were looking forward to seeing from these two defenses to try to slow down the offenses. 1 D point apiece. Is there anything you've noticed in particular? Of course, neither defense able to get a block so far.
Yeah, with both teams holding, I mean, we haven't really seen any of the deep game yet. So I think with the wind increasing a little bit as this day has carried through, we might see a little bit of more of an upwind, downwind game where we see a little bit more of the shots going one way versus the other. So, yeah.
Ring coming back down on defense, the pull from Timothy McAllister.
It's like person matchup by Ring. A little bit poachy in the downfield area.
Pavlianis with the disc for Machine, able to hit White underneath. That throw from White a little off target. Giannis unable to make the save. It's Ring who gets the first break opportunity of this game. It looks like it'll be Saul Yannick going to pick up.
Nice dump defense by Machine.
Forcing the tougher throw, the completion to McKelvey. Guccio-Hannes with it now. And a quick continue with the forehand to Alex Davis. Clean D-line possession for Ring after the unforced turnover, and they claim the game's first break.
And that's a great example of what Matt is good at. He is great at getting open in those small spaces and shooting those discs perfectly through in quick little areas.
Take another look at the errant throw from White. Really no pressure on that throw. A little lazy perhaps on what was really a free reset. Guccio-Hannes, though, shows that he has the precision. The sharp little forehand to the end zone for the goal.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nice to see a lot of the teammates coming out onto the line with the coaching staff to kind of hear what's going on. I mean, people see the game as 7 versus 7, but what you don't realize is that the sideline has a huge presence as well. It's really that 8th player, and you hear it from both sides, and sometimes the coaching staff can't cover everyone out there. So it's good to have people knowledgeable of what to say and how to command that when everyone else is playing on the field.
One of the more positive aspects, I would say, of there not always being huge crowds for Ultimate Games, that the full sideline, full roster of the team is able to be involved on every point. Another big pull coming down from Ring. That one out of bounds, though it would appear. Big bending pull from Matthews.
Yeah, we've talked about in the earlier streams for the day how nice the weather has been. It's been overcast, mid-70s today, and really perfect ultimate weather, but the wind does seem to be picking up a little bit of a crosswind and downwind field. So going to see some of those throws float a little bit out of bounds, float a little bit more than people would expect.
Disc finally back in play after it rolled well out the back of the end zone. Low throw is saved by Keegan North. North going up the line for Giannis. That one too far, swatted down to the ground by Marcus Rovner. Another D-line possession coming up for Ring.
Ring's defense did a really nice job forcing that throw into a very tough window with a ready defender to poach that lane as well.
Connor Russell finding Anders Jungst. Jungst continues to an open cutter. Austin Von Alten down the sideline, but Von Alten, the simple drop. Ring with their first turnover of the game. Giannis once again with the disc in the backfield for Machine. He's going to go for a big backhand downfield, looking for White. A couple defenders giving chase. White holding position, able to box out the defender, an emphatic spike. Machine gets the second effort hold. Nice huck there for the score to White.
Yeah, that shows some really nice chemistry between teammates. You know, White is a phenomenal player in the air, and sometimes you can just really float those out there and know that he will come down with it.
See White holding his ground through the bid from Von Alten. And once Von Alten went to the ground, no real chance for Ring to get the disc back. And Joe White already having an early impact on this one. He is our player to watch on the Machine side. As we mentioned, just won a gold medal with the U24 USA mixed team in Heidelberg earlier this summer. He led that team in total points, combined goals and assists, for those of you at home that aren't familiar with points. Apparently has traveled to every continent, including Antarctica.
Oh, wow. I wonder what the purpose was to do that.
Perhaps just to say he's been to every one, you know, so he can get this little factoid on his player to watch graphic, of course.
Probably some good Frisbee up there.
Maybe not. But it doesn't seem to have affected him too much. He's still out here playing very well. And a dropped pole, a big bendy one, hits Searles Bowes right in the hands, unable to hang on. A very short field now for Machine to try to get this break back. It's Bansfield picking up. He sweeps that one, breaking the mark, able to connect with Nathan Goff. So a gift for Machine. They take advantage. We are back on serve.
You know, I mean, a lot of people that don't really understand Frisbee to the best extent can see the pull as just throw it as far as you can so that you can have the best sort of offensive advantage, or defensive advantage, rather. But little do they know that the amount of spin, the amount of torque that you can get on that disc is so effective, and when occurrences like that happen, while unfortunate for Ring, is very beneficial for Machine for the rest of this game.
And there aren't many plays more deflating than a dropped pull. You know, getting up a Callahan, I think, is probably up in that category. But you saw a kind of shock over the face of Searles Bowes, and Ring not able to get the disc back defensively. So, I mean, Lindsay, as a player, how can you bounce back from a moment like that where it's really, you know, one of the lowest lows you can experience on an individual level?
I mean, I think, we always kind of try to break down Frisbee into throws and catches. And, you know, like, that's something that all of these players know too well. So I don't think it's something that you can get your head down too much about. I mean, yes, it's unfortunate, but also, like, a turn downfield is just as brutal. You know, like, if you dropped an in-cut, it's just a little bit quicker than that would have been. Like, teams are able to score off turns all the time. So while it seems a little bit more dramatic, I think if you have a good support system with you, you can bounce back pretty quick.
And we will see how Searles Bowes bounces back. Right back there, catching the pole cleanly this time. And an early scuba from long, but it's intercepted underneath by Peter Graffey. Short field chance now for Machine. Sam Canner getting it off the sideline. Disc back with Goff, the recent goal scorer.
Some physicality on that upline cut.
Contact back there around the disc, so play comes to a halt.
Saying 6? I'm saying 5? Saying 5, okay. We're in on 5.
Laviolette checks the disc back in, but looks like we have a violation. Disc back in for good now. Goff resetting to Canner. Wobbly one from Canner, but good enough for Goff to make the grab.
A nice roll by Ring.
Canner and Goff doing all the work. Graffey now getting involved. Gets it right back to Canner, though. Tim Shaw coming underneath, making the grab beyond the bidding. Williams, he swings it to the far sideline. In quick offense, continue to the end zone. Graffy, after getting the block, gets the bookends. Machine stacking the breaks. Their biggest lead of the game, now up 4-2.
You know, Ring did a really nice job with their defensive pressure on that point, but as you could see, with those bids, sometimes it needs to be a mental decision whether you really think that you have a play on that disc. Sometimes it can really put you out of position for teams to take advantage of quick throws. And Machine did a really nice job of taking advantage of that into the break side for that point.
The interception from the somewhat casual-looking Scuba from Long. And his cutter downfield clearly did not feel the presence of Graffy attacking that disc. So if we were curious how Ring was going to respond to the dropped pull, I don't think that's what they would have envisioned as their ideal reaction. Another short field turnover.
We have their O-line out right now. We'll see if they can kind of change the tides of the direction that this game is going. Behind by 2.
It looks like it'll be Canner on the pull. He was so pivotal, for that last D-line possession. It's a big turnover backhand for the pull. One hopper stopped by Yannick. Center to Gush Johannes. He gets it right back. Now with Jungst.
Nice pull coverage by Machine as well. Got down there and made those first throws.
But a wide open McKelvey underneath. Ring out across midfield through Jungst. Gush Johannes floating a forehand. Able to connect with McKelvey. McKelvey now more in the middle after the reset play from Gush Johannes, now with Jungst.
Ring's doing a really nice job staying patient with the disc, and even though they're losing yards, they're doing nice decisions to kind of reestablish the spacing.
Saved on the sliding grab by McKelvey. Machine really forcing Ring to work through them. Yannick with it. Late throw to the end zone, but Jungst is open back there for the score. Patient, hard work from the Ring line. They get the hold, much needed hold to end the Machine run, excuse me.
I think Ring's probably pretty pleased with their O-line for that point. That was an important one for them to get. It was close on that foot block too.
Sliding grab by McKelvey, really the only tough completion on the point for Ring, but Machine did make them work. Some high stall throws. Handlers having to grind their way open for resets. Get a good look at Anders Jungst, the goal scorer. Another one of those young players on this Ring of Fire team. Plays his college ultimate. The University of North Carolina Dark Side powerhouse men's club team.
Yeah, he and his 2 other captains for North Carolina for Dark Side coming up, Liam Searles-Bose and Elijah Long. The 3 of them will be taking on this next year.
Pretty nice when your 3 captains all getting very high level experience over the summer on a team like Ring. And that's been one of the big reasons for Dark Side's continued success. They all get to play club together at a high level as well.
And a different defensive look by Ring coming out. They're throwing a zone.
High Rutledge dropping it back to Giannis. And now Machine has found the weak spot. Disc saved by White. White finding Rutledge, who's now unmarked.
Kyle Rutledge was also a pivotal person for the USX offensive line.
And we see Machine continue the flow offensively for the clean hold. The only tough play really was that saving grab from White, but otherwise Machine has little trouble with that defensive wrinkle from Ring. They maintain their lead with a clean hold.
Yeah, I think when you see zone looks with teams of such high caliber and talented athletes, that it really challenges the throwers and where they can hit, but Machine did a really nice job of opening up that zone while Ring still applied good pressure.
Machine offense, after the early blip, giving up that early break, has really turned around, looked awfully strong. And so it's still Ring facing the deficit. See the O-line back out on the field.
Machine working on some cheers to hype up their players, and the pull is out of bounds.
The out of bounds pull, Lindsay, I don't think what the Machine sideline was hoping for.
No.
Kind of sacrificed that ability to apply real pressure defensively early in the point. Searles Bowes resetting to long. Williams beats Goff underneath. Uncorking a big backhand now as Williams looking for Taylor.
Oh.
Swatted away, though, in the back of the end zone. Taylor going up, beat in the air.
Props to Taylor, though. I think he actually took the best option that he could for that disc, going up early, trying to see if he can get a snag on that as he approached the end of the end zone. There wasn't really much more he could do with that disc.
Still not enough to beat Graffy in the air. Machine taking over after the strong defensive play.
A roll from Ring. They settle back into their matchup defense.
Seth Weaver finding Tim Schock for a couple of yards, and Schock able to find Graffy as Machine approaches midfield. Graffy airing it out, looking for Weaver back down there, but it's swatted away by Lanier. The Ring number 4 getting the better of the Machine number 4. Ring trying to start the offense quickly the other way. A couple of quick throws. And an unforced turf from Searles Bowes. A couple of mistakes from him early in this game. Machine will take over as a result of this one right at midfield.
It's like an injury call. You see a Machine player leaving the field, being subbed in.
And it's Searles Bowes going off for Ring. So after the personnel changes, it's Alex Evangelidis who came on for Machine. Eric Schumacher able to find Jeff Holm. Keegan North completing that one to Goff. Right back with North. Thought about going for the break throw, decides to holster. Goes the break forehand to Evangelidis, and the quick continue from Evangelidis to the end zone for Goff. Machine, it takes advantage of their second crack with the D-line unit out on the field. They get another break.
I think both teams did a really good job in their respective positions there. Ring did a really nice job holding Machine back, making them throw much more throws than they probably wanted to, but they maintained patience and they kept their patience together. I don't know. It's been a long day, everyone. But just nice point hitting that inside chip for the break throw for the score.
Kind of a bizarre turnover from Searles Bowes to set that break up. Not sure exactly what went wrong. He did go off the field after. And that's now 3 straight points for the Ring O-line personnel of getting broken. And in fact, Machine's D-line has more goals than the Ring offense. Machine currently leading that tally 3-2. So it has not been a great start for the Ring offense. And their last hold in this run came with the D-line unit out there, the line that is on the field at the moment.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and check the tapes of them against Dig to see if they really got put to the test.
Well, and they were taken down to the wire in that one. Went down to double game point.
Yeah. A big fake by,
He and Jungst, the quick exchange for the reset. Ring trying to work their way against this zone from Machine. McKelvey able to get it to Gushohannes. Get it off the sideline. Dropping it further back to Jungst. Yannick leading the line in touches at the moment as Ring still trying to find their way through this defense. Jungst centering to Gushohannes. It's been all short, stabby throws, really, for Ring. Patiently chiseling their way. Now a big throw from Yannick to a wide open Davis for the score. Patience around midfield for quite a while from Ring. Finally an open player downfield.
A visionary throw. The receiver did not have to do much to catch that one.
The reset to Jungst. Yannick really rifling that one to Davis, putting it right on his chest without any defender in the area. Easy grab for Davis for the score.
Props to Ring for maintaining their poise in that point.
Just a little update on the weather here in Philly. Lindsay mentioned this, really a nice temperature, 74 degrees. It is 52% humidity, which I think makes it feel a little heavier than that. And the wind coming in at 5 miles per hour. The forecast says sunny. It's definitely, I would say, partly cloudy.
We see some blue sky, but the sun is definitely not out.
But it has provided some shelter from the sun, which even though it never really got too hot in terms of temperature yesterday, it felt a little oppressive with really no cloud cover whatsoever. So I think the player is probably a little appreciative of that cloudiness. It's Matthews sending down the pull. It's a nice floaty one. Ring defense able to set up early in the possession. North finds White on the under. White hitting a leaping Paul Arders. Evangelides to Giannis. Giannis turning for the reset, comes back upfield. It's rare that works out, but Zane Rankin able to make the play. Arders floating one to the end zone just beyond the bidding defender. North able to make the grab without leaving his feet. So another clean hold for Machine. Credit to their offense. They have been clicking these last few points.
Yeah, the pace in which they're working the disc up the field, too, is really exemplary of what that they can do. Like they hit their people, they work in stride, and they move that disc in less than 3 stall counts, it seems like, which is really difficult for the defense to set on that.
The Machine offense has proved to be a riddle that this Ring D-line can't quite figure out. And so Machine now will have an opportunity to break to take half for what would be a sizable 8-4 lead. Already have 3 breaks to their credit in this half.
Looks like Ring keeping the same 7 from their previous O-lines out there.
And it doesn't look like Machine is stacking their D-line either. Another pull from Bansfield. Long drops it back to Searles Bowes.
A little bit of a junky defense by Machine to fall into match defense.
Long and Searles Bowes exchange a couple of short passes. Laviolette getting involved, and he's going to go for the forehand. That's well underthrown, though. Easy interception. Machine, will have that chance to break for the half. Mance completing that one in a bizarre turnover. Not sure what happened with Bansfield. Unable to make the catch, though. I'm not sure Ring could really say they earned the disc back, but they have it anyway. Searles Bowes finds Laviolette. Give go from Williams to Laviolette, and the continue to Long has Ring inside the red zone. That swing from Long, never a chance of being caught. Machine taking it back over. Big forehand to the end zone, looking for Walden Nelson. That one tailing away. Nelson never a chance of making that grab.
Machine did a really nice job on the around mark back towards Ring on their end zone. Really makes it much more of a difficult throw to get it across field into that lane, especially with the wind coming in that direction.
Third possession of the point for Ring. Looking for this hole to stay in the half. Lanier, another very low huck. Again, easily intercepted, this time by Bansfield.
It's like Ring's rushing their deep look decisions a little bit.
Certainly not clicking in that aspect of the offense. Goff will call a timeout as Machine struggling a bit with the D-line offense, looking for this break to take half. They will talk it out as a team. This is the first time, Lindsay, that we've really seen this D-line for Ring struggle so much offensively. Do you think that's an adjustment that Ring is making with their defense after the turn?
I think that that's something that they should definitely look into. I don't know. I'm really curious to see if it was something from the last game or what's really happening out there. But I think after this timeout, I think it'll be easier to see what their coach is talking about and if they can apply some different strategies to hopefully kind of pick themselves back up and put on a better half. I mean, we don't have that many points left for this half, but we'll see what they can do.
No, this could be the final one of the half if Machine is able to punch in the break. Really been a struggle for this offensive unit for Ring. Machine has done a nice job of applying pressure defensively, but a lot of unforced turnovers from the Ring side as well. That's something they will want to clean up. Ideally, though, they'd like to get this disc back here, get at least one more goal before going into half. It's Long who will be on the mark of Goff.
Looks like some match defense with the Searles Bowes poaching deep in the backfield. He's now on the mark.
It's Bansfield with the disc. Bringing it back to Goff. Weaver getting open with that cut from Bansfield. We do have a call, I think a travel call from Searles Bowes.
It was around, we called travel, and then he threw it.
All right, so travel's called?
Yeah. Okay.
What was their stall count then?
2.
All right, give it a second. You're good. And 2.
You heard from Searles Bowes, he called the travel not on the throw, but the movement from Bansfield before the throw. And a quick turnover after resumption of play. Goff unable to find Bansfield. Bansfield with a big layout block to get it right back. Johnny Bansfield showing you his defensive prowess. And now knifing a forehand to the end zone, intercepted though by Fisher. Both teams really struggling to find the mark with their throws. Searles Bowes completing that one to Taylor. Switching the field is Ring. Disc now with Williams. Lanier finding Taylor to the 4 side. Ring now winning those unders on the 4 side. Williams going to the backhand, finding a wide open Lanier. Never looked pretty for Ring, but Machine with enough turnovers with their D-line O to give Ring the number of chances they need to get that hold. A much needed hold, I would say, Lindsay. 8-4 deficit would have been a rough one going into half. Instead, they're able to slog their way.
Yeah, something that I find quite fascinating about that last Ring line was everyone seemed comfortable in any position that they were put into. You saw handlers going deep and then coming back to fill in those under spaces. You saw cutters kind of filling back as those resets. You know, everyone seems comfortable with the disc, and I think when you can get to that level, it makes the flow of the game a lot more simple because you can trust everyone to make those decisions and those throws to the best benefit.
And once they finally got going, you saw that.
Yes.
On that final possession that did get them the hold. Machine, though, I think will be a little regretful of the missed opportunities, several of them coming in or near the red zone to get that break. But now with what has been a very trusty O-line back on the field, they will be looking to hold for half.
It's a really nice throw, but out of bounds, upwind from Ring.
And it's Giannis going back to pick it up. Starting this possession at the brick. White, as he so often has done, winning that cut underneath. Giannis gets it right back to White on the far side. White looking downfield, but settles for the reset instead to getting Howe. Rutledge, Scuba behind the intended target, intercepted by Gusho Hannes. The throw is open, but the execution not there on the throw from Rutledge. Ring will take a timeout, looking for this break, see if they'll be able to cap it in. Ring looking for the break after the miss throw from Rutledge. Disc deep in their own territory, but they have not had a whole lot of opportunities to get breaks in this half.
This is a big point for Ring right now. If they can score this, this definitely closes the gap and makes that fight for the half.
Would definitely make for a friendlier scoreline at the break. Yannick with the errant throw, giving it right back. First throw turnover, not what you're looking for on the other side of a timeout.
Oh.
Big bid comes up empty. Fingertips on it.
It was a great attempt by 61 on Machine.
It was Schumacher with the big bid to get the fingertips to it. Second chance to break here for Ring. Guchahannes swinging it. Davis bobbling and dropping. The miscues continuing for Ring. Keegan North with the disc for Machine. Easy one to White. White sending down the big forehand. Evangelidis gets a hand, but nice defense. Able to knock it away.
That is what Ring needed right now. They needed a big play to hype them back up, to hopefully put this back into their own end zone.
It looked like Evangelidis was the only one to get a hand on it. But the defensive pressure on the bid enough to earn the disc back. McAllister hitting Yannick. Stoppage downfield with the disc in the hands of Guchahannes.
Machine still sticking with their match defense.
The sweeping reset over the shoulder of Rutledge finds Yannick. Ring unable to get anything going downfield, all in the handler space. Sacrificing yardage. Davis gets open underneath. Matthews does the same. Von Alten is Ring working, forcing it down that sideline. Finally get it back to the middle and swing it all the way to Matthews. Guchahannes hits to the end zone for Shane Cisco. So as Ring this time takes advantage of the multiple break opportunities, finally able to punch it in, get back to within one.
It's a beautiful progression by Ring in that offense. Took their time, made calculated decisions and cuts, and it paid off.
And some mistakes from the Machine offense that we've not seen really since their early point where they gave up Ring's first break. See the aggressive throw from White. Evangelidis unable to make the play. And then the incisive work from Ring in the red zone. Guchahannes, Lindsay, as you well know, one of those players that just seems to do every little part of the game right.
Yes. Yeah, he is so calculated, and his decision-making skills are just some of the best that I've ever experienced, you know? He has a real influence on the field and the people that are around you on the field, too. So it's really cool to see that applied into this game as much as I also saw it being his teammate this past summer.
Seems to be one of those players that gets the best out of his teammates.
Yes.
We saw that for quite a while as a captain for UNC dark side.
And I think that's a really tough quality to have, too. I mean, to be as talented as a player as he is, but yet also be such a team player and really let everyone else shine. It's like that thing that just like you keep boosting each other up. And I think that's pretty cool.
Buchahannes back out there on the line for Ring. Looks like they are stacking this line, trying to get another break back. Some O-line players out there like Williams and Taylor, along with Buchahannes. Alan Laviolette pulled over to the line as well.
Eric Taylor with the pull.
Guess he's going to go for the patented spin pull.
Yeah.
His trademark. It's a bendy one that gets away.
Worked.
But the first throw still free to Giannis. Evangelidis resets. The hammer from Giannis to the far side. North the target. North finding Arders. Arders with the quick continue, not the throw he was looking for. Had to be so precise with that forehand to the same side. Did not get the release he wanted. And we have a score update. So we see Williams walking at the front of the end zone. Sub-0 in the other men's semifinal is up 7-6 on New York Pony. So a potential upset scare. Big layout block, gets it back for Ring for the moment, but I think we have a foul called on the play. Getting Howe with the big layout.
You see Toro, the North Carolina mixed team, watching from the sidelines too.
And they got a good look at the play.
So you're coming to me?
Yeah.
And you called the foul?
Yes.
Yes. So my ruling, no foul. You changed direction. So we restart with the check. Restart with the check. Restart with the check. Restart with the check. All right, disc is in. 20 seconds.
Heard from the observer. He ruled that Anders Junks changed his direction, and that was responsible for the contact on the bid. Big defensive play from Yitting Howe. Has the disc back with Machine in the red zone. North trying to find any teammate. Finally does, and they continue to Arders from Rankin. Stoppage downfield. Arders after the turnover, more appreciative probably than anyone on the line of Howe's defensive effort. White, strong cut to gain the separation from Williams. Not many players going to burn Williams like that. Joe White, one of the few capable of doing so, gets open for the score. Machine does get the hold. They will take an 8-6 advantage into the half.
He is a matchup nightmare.
And, you know, Jack Williams, I think, fits that description as well. But putting him in the spin cycle is Joe White. Williams absolutely getting torched. And so White puts a punctuation on the half for Machine. They will take the 8-6 lead into the break. But it is shaping up with that little run there for Ring, shaping up for a good second half. We will be back in just a moment to see which of these two teams is headed to the final.
with the lead. It's the Sockeye. Julian House went up high in the end zone for the winning score for Sockeye.
Feels like 100 years. My dreaming isn't gonna last. I could be better still than anything I've done. Oh, I know you think you could do too. Oh, I know you think you feel it's true. It's a little
Jay Frood, what an incredible layout catch. On free child, and Frood comes down with it. Goes up.
Rocketing a backhand, looking for Monroe. Monroe chasing after it.
And that's a Callahan. Back for the second half here between Chicago Machine and Raleigh Ring of Fire. Machine holding an 8-6 advantage, up one break. Looked like it was going to be quite a bit more than that. A late rally in the second half of the first half from Ring, able to get some of those points back. Still have an uphill battle in the second. Winner of this one heading to the Pro Champs Final.
Yeah, this halftime is one of those times where you wish that you were kind of in those huddles, in your coaching staff's head, wondering what they're telling their players to bring out in the second half. This is a close game with both teams making mistakes here and there and taking advantage of the other teams as well. It's going to be tight.
Williams with the disc for Ring. Henry Fisher uncorking a big backhand. Taylor all alone. Easy grab for the score. Easy throw, easy catch. Ring gets the clean hold to start us here in the second half.
It's a beautiful execution by Ring. Get a perfect throw to a wide open teammate in the end zone. It's a good start to the half for them.
And that's how you would like every point to go, really. Take another look. Mark never really got set. And Taylor with so much separation from Weaver deep. So Ring pulling within 8-7. It's the same score we have in both of the mixed semifinals at halftime. Minneapolis Dragon Thrust up on Denver Love Tractor 8-7, and Philadelphia Amp up 8-7 on Boston Snake Country. We will keep you up to date on those games as best we can. Stay tuned to ultiworld.com/live for updates all weekend long. Still another round of semifinals coming up after this one. The two women's semifinals will be played at 2:30.
I think it's a pretty substantial factoid, to not have a better word for it, that we have all these high-level teams competing here this weekend, and they're all hitting the same scores. So everyone is really evenly matched, you know?
There have been a lot of very close games across all three divisions. Gives me hope for a fun and exciting Nationals in October, as many of these teams will be competing against each other once again. A little warm-up event, you might say, in Philly. Machine with Schumacher. He finds White. Back to the middle to Arders. Jab step from White, getting plenty of separation. Play comes to halt now, back in with Keegan North. North finds Arders. Just outside that front cone. And Arders connects with Rankin. Machine patient down there near the end zone. They get the clean hold to respond to Rings. Both offenses looking strong to start the second half.
Machine did a really nice job of placing those throws in a spot where the defender really had no play. Threw it into space so that everyone can run onto it. It's just a really experienced decision to do that in a wide open player in the end zone.
Kind of a wobbly throw from Arders. Ended up not affecting Rankin's ability to make the catch. But Arders is one player for Machine who has shown some hiccups for Machine in this game. But overall, Machine has been much stronger this weekend than the last time we saw them at the U.S. Open, when they really had some stunning results. Ended up not making the bracket in Minneapolis. Suffered a shocking loss to Huntsville Freaks in consolation play that kind of sent shockwaves through division. Machine actually came into this weekend just really on the cusp of bid territory. With a strong performance this weekend and a pretty strong performance so far in this game. Looking more like the team we expected them to be in the preseason. Towed the line there did Lanier. Long hits Laviolette. He quickly continues to Taylor.
Machine looks like they're throwing a little bit of a bracket to throw off the Ring offense.
Williams scoobers to an open Taylor. Taylor gives it right back. Lanier works his way open underneath. Searles Bowes searching. Gives it back to Lanier. Patient work from Ring Laviolette dumps it back to Long. Laviolette sticks out the one hand for the grab.
Again, Ring making nice spacing for themselves by working the disc back and an intercepting turn.
Right as you say that, Lindsey Williams throws into the block for Schock, and Schock taking off the other way. He's going to go up, gets it over the defender to put Machine just outside the end zone. Quite the point for Tim Schock. Vansfield settles for the reset to Canner before getting it right back.
Oh, it looks like he got some fingers on that one.
The pop over the top, and then the continue Canner to Schock. So Schock gets the bookends. Strong point from the young Tim Schock. You see the emphatic spike. Machine gets the break right after Ring looked primed for the hold. Patience ran out. Schock gets the block and gets the goal the other way.
It's a very heads-up D by Schock down there. Getting into that tight frame of the end zone. Teams start to get a little bit less patient. They start to get a little bit antsy with their decisions, and he read that throw perfectly. Smacked it down and went deep, and they worked their offense back up for the score.
Schock just clogging up the throwing lane. Gets up big over Long
Huge
for
grab.
the catch. Schock, one of a good few Carleton cut players and alums on these two rosters. His teammate Joe White also playing his college ultimate at Carleton, and a good number of the Ring players playing their college ultimate for Carleton.
I believe there's 2 on the line currently with Stan Birdsong and Saul.
And both of those two were on the national championship team along with Schock and White back in 2017. A lot of college championships on the field for this Ring O-line. Jungst hits McKelvey. McKelvey finds Jacob Mao. Mao scoops it. Tough grab for Yannick. Contact on the play from Nelson. Yannick going to take those steps back after getting pushed. Disc back in play.
Machine putting on a backhand force.
Yannick speeds up the line for the reset, then fouled from behind by Nelson. Yannick a little annoyed with that defensive play. Walden chasing, frustrated with himself too. I'm not sure that was a malicious foul. Yannick irritated all the same. And clearly wanted the quick continue after getting so much separation on the strike. Ring still knocking on the door. Jungst hits Gush Johannes a couple of yards outside the end zone. Gush Johannes steps around, gets it right back to Jungst for the goal. Nice work from the speedy handlers of Ring in the red zone. Let those handlers go to work in the small spaces. Turns into a hold.
You know what's really nice about this matchup, it doesn't seem like any team is like pulling away with the game, you know, like there's some great plays being done by both, but both teams are keeping up. Ring keeps chipping away at that 2-point lead by Machine.
And it did look for a bit there as if it was in danger of getting away from Ring. Machine had a couple of great opportunities to make it 8-4 at half. And in the second half, the teams largely trading, but Ring still gonna have to find some breaks to really get back into this one.
any hole is a hard hole to dig out of at this level.
Certainly hard to stop these elite level offenses. And Machine, for the most part, has done a nice job of limiting the opportunities they've given to Ring. It will be Matthews on the pole. Ring again pulls over some O-liners on to this defense. They know they're starting to run out of time to get some of those breaks back. Stepping around the mark nicely there is Giannis. Evangelidis unable to beat Davis to the disc. The speedy Davis winning the battle underneath. Nice defensive play, as you said, Lindsay. Another player, young player on this roster, playing his first year with Ring.
You like to see nice, clean Ds. He took that inside lane, cleanly ran through.
As a result, Ring now in possession of a break opportunity. Johannes finds Taylor. Birdsong finds a lot of space underneath from White.
Nice lefty.
Yeah, offhand, backhand reset to Gusho Hannes. Ring working their way into the red zone. Taylor gets it to Davis. Davis finds the bookends.
We've seen a lot of bookends today. We've great athletic plays on defense. Then their teams work it down. Ring using a great job at utilizing those unders. Pretty much uncontested, worked their way up. And a toe in for the score.
Another look. That impressive acceleration from Davis to get the clean run through block. And that patient, hard work the other way earns the break for Ring. Still facing a deficit, but you did feel that they were going to need a break sooner rather than later to maintain that belief of being able to hang around in this game. And Davis really having himself a day. 3 goals for Ring of Fire. And that one block that we just saw. One of the fastest players in all of Ultimate, and he, before this season, has not been able to bring that to the elite club scene. But now getting to show out that elite athleticism, the highest levels of the game.
You love that kind of player on your team.
Absolutely. We spoke with him at College Easterns this season. He said in high school he sprinted against NFL player Jabril Peppers.
Oh, my goodness.
He did not beat him.
Oh, okay.
But
I was going to say.
But Davis did say that he had him beat for the first 20 yards or so.
Oh, wow.
So perhaps a faster first 20 yards from Davis than NFL star Jabril Peppers. We saw that speed, that burst ability to get that block.
Where do you think we'd fall in that lineup?
You would probably fall better than me. Speed has never been my strength. Speedy player in his own right. White once again wins the underneath as he's done all game. North goes it back to White. No one for Ring can stop Joe White. Again, roasting Jack Williams to get open in the red zone for the score. Joe White putting on a show for the Machine offense.
It's not very often that you see such a tall player be so light on their feet and able to change direction with such, intent, you know? He knows where he wants to be, and he gets there, and he's open every time.
And that's White's 3rd goal of the game to go with 1 assist. And Jack Williams, for a good while, has been one of the best athletes in the game and has not been any matchup for White. Another Machine player having a strong game, Nate Goff. A pair of goals, and an assist for them, all on the Machine at D-line. All of those for breaks. So his fingertips have been all over the Machine breaks. Goff and White. A couple strong individual performances have been big reasons for Machine holding this 11-9 lead. Canner rips the pull downfield. It's going to be caught by Searles Bowes.
Took a little bit of a zony look from Machine to try to stop that handler movement that is so important to Ring's offense. Travel called.
That will bring the disc back to Searles Bowes. Observer rules, it was a travel. Working a little bit too quickly to try to beat this zone defense. Long drops it back and gets it right back. Searles Bowes cut strike for Taylor. Still been all of those handlers for Ring. Searles Bowes expands the field with that throw. Finds the wide open Williams. And the quick continue to the end zone. Hits Taylor in stride for the score. So once again, patient zone offense from Ring before finding that wide open player downfield, leading to the score.
I like that Machine changed up their defensive look, but I think it might have been more useful going the other direction on the field, right? Ring had the wind at their back for that offensive point. And when you have great throwers such as Liam that's able to get it over that cup and into that space on the sideline, there's not much a zone can do to that.
To their credit, Machine was able to force a lot of throws from those Ring handlers. The handlers, though, up to the task. Another score update from the other men's semifinal. Sub-Zero and Pony tied at 9s. We've got a tight one over on the other men's game. And again, you can stay up to date with that one on ultiworld.com/live. You get the Twitter feed over there as well as this live stream. Really no better place to consume a live Ultimate Tournament. Good ones all over the complex in Philadelphia. Pro Champs starting to wind down. Semifinal matches in the men's division and mixed division all around us. Machine trying to hold on to this late lead. It's Rutledge surveying downfield, has no reset throw. Arders finally works his way open. Giannis throwing into the block by Von Alten. We do have a foul call. North was the intended target. Hard to tell from that replay.
All right, so each of us saw differing things, so we're gonna have to just send it back, because
the players couldn't agree and the observers couldn't either. The throw will go back, but Giannis bailed out. That throw was definitely into tight coverage, whether Von Alten got the clean block or not. This time Giannis resets to Rutledge. Little low from White. Rankin saves it with the sliding grab. Another low one saved, this time by Evangelidis. Giannis works his way open for the reset. Machine knocking on the door. Someone finally able to keep up with a strike cut from White. Disc comes to a stop once again due to a pick. Arders pops it to White to get it off the sideline. Low forehand. I think we'll have a conversation about whether that one was up or not. Giannis thinks yes, it was up.
Are you gonna go? I really think. I got like this.
Like I didn't think it was gonna be down, but I was like, wow, that was definitely down.
I didn't think it was down because it wasn't down.
Brad, please tell me if I'm wrong.
You were like my rolling?
Yes.
All right. My rolling, it was down. It touched the grass.
Well, you heard from the observer. I don't think our replay would agree with the ruling. Looked like Giannis had stopped rotation of the disc before it made contact with the ground. But Yannick is rewarded for the call. Ring with an opportunity to break, level this one back up. Full field to go, though. Matthews finds plenty of separation from White. Yannick swings it over to McAllister. Davis finding himself in the reset space. Not McKelvey, but Walker Matthews rather. Laying to get his hand to that one. Can't hang on. Machine takes back over. Wide open is Arders for Giannis. White, big bendy backhand to the end zone. Caught for the score. Machine coughs it up. But so does Ring, and Evangelidis with the goal for Machine, able to hold on to that lead.
And it seemed like just in perfect time for that last point, the wind started to pick up to be very blustery, and I think that had an effect on a lot of the throws. Do you see Walker Matthews laying out there for Ring?
It was tough to tell. It looked like North maybe got a little piece of that throw from Von Alten. It was not a clean rotation on the throw. Clean throw from White, though. Able to bend it so far out around the mark. Evangelidis, one of the more veteran presences on this Machine team. With a lot of young players and a lot of new players on this roster. Evangelidis, one that has been a part of the Machine program for quite some time, showing you he's still got it, can still hang around with the likes of the youngster White. We'll get another Sam Canner pull. That one headed out of bounds. So Ring will start at the brick.
I think this is the most sideline presence from spectators that we've had for our stream games today. North Carolina pulling in a lot of friends and family.
With other action winding down around the complex, players starting to find their way to the field. They're going to have a hard time picking which game to watch. So many of these games going on right now are within a goal or two. Bose unleashes a big backhand for Lanier. Lanier making the grab under pressure in the end zone. Sweet connection for those two for the Ring hole. Searles Bose, a player who has had some rough moments in this one. Pretty backhand for the assist this time around.
That was a perfectly placed throw for Lanier to get without the defender really being able to make a play on it. He had to switch his hip direction and kind of cover ground in the opposite direction than what he was facing. Not very easy to defend. or even to get up for, you know?
Lanier, the one making the grab under the late pressure from Canner. You see that clock ticking down underneath a minute. Once Cap hits, it will be with diff rules +1 to the highest score. So if Ring scores, it will be game to 13. If Machine scores, it will be game to 14. Depending on how that all plays out, we will have a hard cap, 10 minutes from the zeros. Taylor lofts the massive pull. Massive in terms of hang time, I should say. Not exactly the deepest pull you'll ever see. Evangelides catches the initial pass of the possession, finds a wide open White, with Johannes late to set the mark. Play stops with the disc in the hands of North.
This is a big defensive point for Ring right here. If they can get this, changes the game entirely for them.
North sacrifices a lot of yards to reset to Giannis. White floats it to the end zone, chased down for the score. North able to track it down. Machine holds clean. Lindsay, as you said, that one really changes the way this shapes up down the stretch. Machine leading 13-11, game to 14.
It's a beautifully placed throw.
White has really demonstrated that he can do everything, particularly in this half. It has been Joe White takeover mode, whether he's roasting defenders with the hard cuts into the end zone or he's the one throwing the assists. So Machine on the brink of a spot in the Pro Championships final. Ring will have to rattle off 3 straight if they're going to steal that place.
Do you think they can do it?
I think they can.
I think they can.
Do I think they will? If I had to guess, I would say no. Certainly, game scenario very much the beneficiary towards Machine.
Yes.
A strong position.
Nice pull.
Another big pull from Bansfield. Lands just inbounds, pinpointing that last centimeter before the boundary. Big sweep over to Lanier. And the Ring quickly crosses midfield. Williams a little bit further down the line. Finds Taylor.
Let's go, Red!
Fisher all alone. Canner finally gets back in to position to put on a stall. Williams dinks it back to the middle. Long returns it. Straddling the line is Long, and he finds Williams cutting strike for the score. So the Ring O-line does what they have to do. They get the clean hold to keep them in this one. See the goal once again. Williams, the jump cut and shimmy to get open for the score. So now the onus is on the Ring D-line, needing another break to stay in this one, and then we'll need another one on top of it to get the win.
This is close. Ring has done a really good job of hanging in there. They keep making strides towards this end goal of winning this game. I mean, Machine's holding phenomenally well, but you can't talk poorly about how Ring's doing.
Certainly no signs of quit,
No, not yet.
and I don't expect we will see that anytime
No.
soon. Ring will try to dig deep, find these breaks, a loaded line on the field. The usual suspects on offense for Machine, and why not? They have put together a complete game. Joe White in particular been very influential. It will be interesting to see what Ring tries to do to slow him down. They've not been able to do that in this half.
Eric Taylor with the spin pull again. This one going further than the last one, still with great hang time. Not much further.
Giannis picks up. Machine looking to hold for the win. Giannis gets the center and now unleashes a big forehand, looking for who else but Joe White. He tracks it down with ease. Can anyone slow down Joe White? No one on Ring, apparently, at least not this half. Dominant individual performance from Joe White helps lead Machine to a spot in the championship game. 4-goal, 3-assist performance for White. See celebrating with his shorts around the ankles. Not sure I'm the biggest fan of that celebration, but who am I to criticize the way he just played? Unstoppable performance from White. Machine takes the win 14-12 over Ring.
This was a great game by both teams. I mean, you really saw phenomenal work ethic by both to keep the lead and also to try to go after the lead.
Really turned into an exciting second half. Both teams gave it everything they had trying to get the win. It's Machine who comes out on top, though. Another fun matchup between these two perennial contenders, Chicago Machine and Raleigh Ring of Fire. It's Machine that's headed to the championship game. For Lindsay McKenna, I'm Daniel Prentice. Thanks for tuning in.
Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go, take down the field.
An Ulti-World subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
Every time the pressure rises, we play better.